What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We're going to be talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. The film takes place 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, where the planet's ecology isn't really safe for dinosaurs to live in. Those that remain are living in an isolated area that kind of resembles the climate in which they once lived in. The three most colossal creatures within the tropical biosphere hold this key to a drug that will be a life-saving benefit to humankind. The film is directed by Gareth Edwards, who directed Godzilla, Rogue One, and The Creator, and stars Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey. Now, I have been somewhat looking forward to this movie, mostly because you have Gareth Edwards behind the cameras. While you may love or hate his movies, there's no denying that he has a visual eye when it comes down to the special effects, and the fact that they said that they were going to be bringing the tone of the original Jurassic Park to this movie, that also got my interest a little bit more higher, mostly because I wasn't the biggest fan of the three Jurassic World movies with Chris Pratt. I thought they were hit and miss. I enjoy Fallen Kingdom a lot more than most people, but Dominion just left a sour taste in my mouth. And that's why this movie really wasn't one of my most anticipated movies of the year, but I was still looking forward to this movie to see if they were able to bring that kind of tone back into the franchise and be able to inject new life. Because as we all know, life finds a way. However, new life was not able to be injected into this film, and just like the dinosaurs, this franchise should just stay extinct. While I thought the movie was okay, this movie had the potential to be great because you have the right makings in here. You have a strong cast and you have a visual director. What this movie was really lacking was a lot of depth to the characters. Some of the characters in here are really underutilized and undercharacterized. You don't get to know them all too much. They just give you a brief synopsis of who they are and what they've been up to. And I kind of wish we had a little bit more meat to their bones. Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey, I thought were great for the roles that they were given, and for the most part they really did have some wonderful chemistry with one another, and you wanted to be able to go on this expedition with them. And just like Rogue One, The Creator, and Godzilla, while the stories may not have been great except for Rogue One, I thought out of the bunch that is my favorite one that he's directed so far. The visual effects for Jurassic World Rebirth are absolutely amazing. The dinosaurs, they're all different, creative, and I really enjoyed it whenever they were on screen, and we had a lot of great dino actions. Gareth Edwards was able to create such great moments of tension and terror whenever the dinosaurs were ready to attack. When it's at its high point, you get some great moments of tension and suspense, but whenever we diverge to our human characters, you have two separate characters of groups in here. You have the main trio with Scarlett, Mahershala, and Jonathan, and then you also have another side quest with a family that really you don't give a shit about. They're just there to create a little bit more of the suspense and terror whenever it comes to the dino action, and ultimately you really don't care about them. They just feel like characters that were added at the last minute to add to this film when you really didn't need them because they really don't do much for the plot. Whenever you have the dino action, that is when the movie is at its high point. Whenever it diverges away from them, you kind of start losing interest in the film, and I get to a certain point why they needed them in there, but I kind of wish they either added a little bit more to their characters or gave you a reason to care. Godzilla Minus One was one of my favorite films of 2023, and the reason why I love that movie so much more than I do when it comes down to movies like the Jurassic World movies or to that first Godzilla movie, they gave you the best of both worlds. They gave you characters you care about, plus they also injected a few moments of creature action, so that way whenever the suspenseful moments happen, you care about the characters and you want them to get to safety. Whenever the suspenseful moments happen in Jurassic World Rebirth, well, I think they are set up great. They also don't have that level of suspense or urgency because you don't really care about these characters, so you don't care about who lives, who dies, or what they're going to do. The family dynamics isn't really all that interesting, mostly because you have the father who really doesn't like his daughter's boyfriend because he's a lazy piece of shit until ultimately you know exactly how that storyline is going to turn out. And then when we come back to our main trio, there are moments there where they have their moments to shine, but this movie relies so heavily on the campiness of it all. The humor in here at times was great, but at times it just felt so forced, and it felt like they were trying to recreate the magic of that first film, and that's what I really wanted out of this movie. I wanted to be able to have the best of both worlds. That's what makes the first Jurassic Park movie great. You get the best of both worlds. You get the characters you're really invested in and you care about, especially when you have separate side quests going on, and you also have some great suspenseful moments that happen so that whenever they happen to the characters you like, it heightens the scene. You don't want to see any of the characters picked off. And that is the biggest problem that Jurassic World Rebirth has. Is the fact that you don't really care about the characters. The characters are underutilized and you really don't care about most of them for the half of the film. And the film is 2 hours and 14 minutes, and I think it's about, I say, a good 30 minutes too long. There are some pacing issues in the second act going into the third act, and the third act is great. That is when you have a lot of the great dino action, and I kind of wish they had that momentum throughout the entire movie with characters you actually care about. But this movie felt like the past three Jurassic World movies. While I think this is the better one that we've gotten so far, it's not really a high bar to say that because the other ones were pretty much the same. Great dino action, just characters you don't care about. And that's exactly how I felt about Jurassic World Rebirth. While this movie has its moments of tension and terror, and the dino action is great to see, the visual effects are absolutely breathtaking to see on screen, and they do inject the Jurassic Park theme song just to hit those nostalgic buttons, but it didn't really do much for me to come out saying, hey, you should go out to see this movie in theaters. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Jurassic World Rebirth a 6 out of 10. It's a movie that had a lot of potential to be great, but just like the past three Jurassic World movies, it suffers from the character interactions, and just like the creator and Godzilla with Gareth Edwards, it lacks in story, but the visuals are just beautiful to see on screen. But those are my thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth. Have you guys checked it out? Are you planning on checking this film out? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you guys for the next video.